I grew up on a kind of like a hobby farm with my parents. Grew up with 3 sisters. We went to church usually every Sunday. You know, everybody was happy. I had a really good childhood. You know, going through and being a teenager, you do what, you know, teenagers do. You think you know best, and God wasn't a priority in my life then. And I thought it was, you know, I had to be popular and do the cool things, and God at that time wasn't cool for me. So I wanted to do what everybody else did, and I did that. Worldly things, possessions, and materialistic things became priority, and God was set aside. I loved horses, always have, and so I guess that was kind of my ring for my parents to kind of keep me in tune. So they kind of had that to keep me in line. I stopped believing what my parents said about God and His truth, and you know, I was in like a society environment where, you know, the music that I was listening to wasn't the best, and the people that I was hanging around weren't the people I probably should have been hanging out with. And I started doubting God and His truth, and was living the truth of the world, today's society kind of stuff. And I remember thinking, you know, my parents only talked about God and the stories, and that's all they were, was stories, and it was discussion, and it was stuff that, you know, was to scare me so that I would be good, so that I could get into heaven. I believed as long as you were a good person, you were gonna go somewhere nice after you died, and if you weren't, you were gonna just go in a black hole. And it wasn't until I was older, probably in the last 7 years when I met my husband, that kind of world changed for me. He asked me to go to church with him a couple of times, and I assumed that it was going to be like the church that I grew up with, and that was a little bit of a shock when I first walked in there. And there was a band at the front. I remember seeing a band and thinking, why is there drum sets at the front of a church? Like, what's going on? And why are people dancing? And why are their hands up? And I thought it was crazy. I got wrapped up in it because the music was kind of cool. And that's what kind of really got me going to church and wanting to go to church, was the music. It was the one place I could sing, and I didn't have someone telling me, you know, to keep my day job or something like that. I always observe people. I'm like a people watcher, and looking around, and I don't know, there was something different that day when everybody had their hands up, and like it was like they were singing the words, but they were praying. Like it was individual to each person. They were each feeling something different, and then that's when I wanted to feel what they were feeling. Like I was just standing there and crying my eyes out, and wanted to feel what they were feeling, and wanting to understand it more. And so, you know, I would pray about, you know, feeling something, asking God, you know, make me feel what they're feeling. Like, I don't care, break my heart, make me cry, like make me feel what I'm supposed to be feeling, because I shouldn't be numb. And I lived most of my life just feeling numb, so I wanted to feel something. And He answered my prayers, because almost every Sunday I bawl my eyes out like a little girl. And that's okay, because it's bad, you know, crying tears. It's happy tears, and He answered my prayers. I'm feeling. And so that's pretty awesome to think that every Sunday I feel something, and the Sundays that I miss church, I feel that my week isn't complete. Like I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. And the same thing with reading the Bible. The nights that I go to bed and I read the Bible, I feel better the next day, and I feel like I have more energy, and I'm kinder. I don't know, it's just kind of, it keeps you in line a little bit. It keeps you on track, maybe that's a better way of saying it. He's changed my whole demeanor. Like when I was younger, I had issues, and even now still, with acceptance and self-worth, and depression is something I've battled too. And I feel now like I'm putting my guards down more. I'm letting people in, and I'm feeling accepted. I'm able to accept that it's okay to have my down days, because I know they're not going to last. And I know when I pray about it, when I'm not feeling 100%, I do feel better. And I know that's not because of chance, it's because of God, you know, and He's changed me. I've become a happier person. I feel like now when I'm doing things, I'm wanting to do things for the right reasons, for the right way, and pleasing, you know, God, and pleasing people too, but most importantly, pleasing my God, and knowing when I lay my head down at night, if that were to be my last breath I breathe, that I'll be welcomed. I'm an all-around better person, and I know with the things that I enjoy doing, they've improved as well. I teach horseback riding for young girls ages 9 to 17, and I want to be a better role model for them, not just as a rider, not just as a riding coach, but as a woman of God. I want them to look at me and know that there's something different about me, and to seek it too, because, you know, they're girls, you know, you struggle through your teenage years. I want them to have someone that's been there that can help them through that, and I know that I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have God. I want to be baptized because I feel like I need to be anchored into, like, God's sea, I guess. You know, I want to feel like this is something for a while I've been battling with. Because I was baptized as a child, I thought maybe, you know, I shouldn't be baptized now because I was already done. Like, why do it again? It's been done. But I feel like then it wasn't my choice. It wasn't something that I felt. And when I was a teenager, I wasn't a believer. So I feel like it's kind of null and void. You know, so I feel like now as a believer, I need to take that step in trusting in God and saying, okay, God, take me where you want me to go.